Hi everyone! So to prepare you for your fieldwork project, here's a video that will give you an introduction to what fieldwork is, the assignment details, and how you should carry out your fieldwork project. So what is fieldwork? Fieldwork is about getting out of the classroom and into the field to study the environment around us. This could be our human environment, or the physical environment, a rural settlement, or urban settlement. A fieldwork project could be done by a group of people or by you alone. The next thing we want to understand is why we conduct fieldwork. Why is it important? Now, someone once said that fieldwork helps us see the obvious and find the hidden. In a lot of ways, this is true. By going out to study our surroundings, we can collect data that is right in front of us, the obvious, and we can also use this data to draw certain conclusions or things that may have been hidden before our research. Geographers are constantly conducting fieldwork to uncover how our world works. Fieldwork is also important because we can learn techniques and skills like data collection and using equipment like weather tracker. Now let's look at what your assignment is. You are to carry out a fieldwork project to complete a land use survey. Don't worry, we'll get to what a land use survey is soon. Knowing how to conduct a land use survey is important because if you choose geography for your elective next year, you'll be doing something very similar for your fieldwork projects. So, in pairs, you are to undertake a study to number 1, fill in a land use map based on the area given, which I will show you later. 2, put your findings into a table following the categories given, which I will also touch on later. And 3, to give a written conclusion to describe the land use and determine the function of our immediate neighborhood. This land use survey fieldwork project is quite closely related to your study on settlements, so make sure to read up on chapter 3 of your textbooks to help in your understanding of the function in a settlement. This project is worth 20 marks, which is 20% of your total CA marks. The deadline is 15th August, Friday, 2 p.m. So please submit your works to your geography teacher by the deadline. No extensions will be given and a nil mark will be given for nil submissions. Now, what is a land use survey? It is a way for us to collect data about how land is being used and for what purposes. We usually carry out a land use survey along a specified line, like a road, a river, or even a street. Through the land use survey, we can determine the function of an area, like is the land used for mainly residential purposes or commercial purposes. For your project, we will be using our immediate neighborhood as the specified area. You will start from point A, which is our school, and walk down the road till you reach point B, which is Giant Supermarket. So all the data you'll need to collect will be found along this route. Let us now get a better idea of how to start a land use survey. First, we will need to learn how to create a land use map. To create a land use map, we need to first get a blank piece of paper and find out or mark out the street that you've been assigned. So in this example, the street that we've been assigned is Mosque Street. Okay, so you can fill in the other street names if there are any intersecting streets. And from the starting point, one end of the assigned street, you need to start walking down to observe the different land uses on the ground floor or second floor of the buildings on both sides of the road. So in this case, if we start from here and we walk down, these are the rows of houses or buildings that we will see. Okay? And we are to use boxes to represent the buildings along the assigned street. We will need to label these boxes with the different land uses observed and repeat the process till we reach the end of the street. So, if we start from here, and if we look at this set of buildings, okay, we use a box to represent this building. And if we notice that the building has 3 floors, we can separate the box into 3, right? And then we can draw an arrow out and we can make a notation. For example, the first floor we see it is a Sichuan restaurant, so we can just simply note it as a restaurant. Okay, and so on and so forth, all the way till we reach the end of the street. And we can refine the map by adding other labels or short notes and further information about the land use. So this is a basic way of drawing a land use map, right? But for the project, we have drawn the map for you. So all you need to do is fill in the missing notations. You will need to complete this land use map by filling in the various street names. So along this street here, the street names here and here. You will also need to fill in all the land use, all the various land uses. For example, these blocks here, these small mini boxes here, okay, even this small box here. And you can fill in notations like if you see this is a residential block, you can just write the block name. Maybe it's block 512. Okay. Or you can even fill in maybe this box here is a hair salon. And so on and so forth. Right? Even areas like this one, which may not be a building, will still need to be filled in. Alright, so once you're done with the map, you'll need to collate your data in the form of a table. In your worksheet, we have provided you with a table with all the categories. So all you have to do is refer to your map and count the number of buildings that fit each category. For example, if we look at education, there is Guangyang Secondary, Guangyang Primary, and a childcare center down the road. So if we tally that up based on the map that you've done, okay, the total we'll have is 3. So simply fill in all the details in numerical form. Lastly, once we have our map data and our table data, we can then come to a written conclusion as to the function of our immediate neighborhood as well as to describe the land use. Alright, and you are expected to give a minimum of 80 words in your write-up. A minimum. So you can write more than 80 words but no less than 80. Take note, you can discover different findings from your map and your table data. For example, from a map perspective, you may write about how residential buildings are clustered or close to certain amenities. And from a table perspective, you may find or you may write about which categories have the highest number. You may also make educated guesses as to why this is so. Finally, don't forget to conclude what the main function of this neighborhood is. Now, before we end, remember, safety first. Because you and your partner will be going out to conduct this study, you need to look out for one another. When filling in the land use map, it is better to keep to one side of the road. The buildings and spaces are perfectly visible from the other side of the road, so you do not need to keep crossing the road in order to complete your map. Now, with this in mind, you should have everything you need to get your fieldwork started. Good luck!